Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another 2 vs 2 in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. This is a little bit different. If you guys remember from probably 3 or 4 months ago, I'd say, I brought out a Medieval Kingdoms pike and shot battle, and that was a 1v1, and it seemed to get a decent amount of views, so I've decided to bring another pike and shot battle in Medieval Kingdoms out for you guys today. It is a 2 vs 2, so there's a lot more action that goes on, and we'll be sure to catch some of the cinematic parts. But let's go ahead and take a look at the army comps, and then we'll get the battle started. The first army we're going to take a look at in today's battle is the Kingdom of Sicily, commanded by myself. And Sicily has a pretty balanced roster when it comes to pike and shot. You really have to kind of choose between only a few factions, just because a lot of them don't really have solid pikes or any pikes at all. And they also, a lot of the factions don't even have handgunners. So you kind of have to choose. It's mostly the Italian factions that have the really solid units, so that's probably what you're going to see a lot of today. But for my army, I've got 8 units of these handgunners here, which are pretty solid. They've got some nice plate armor. Most handgunners have very poor accuracy, but they've got excellent armor-piercing damage and excellent armor. They are Tier 3. And then right in behind, I have 8 units of Piscieri, which is my best pike unit, also Tier 3. Got a lot of plate armor. And then I've got my General's Bodyguard right in behind, but on the hill here. And this would be him. So he's the King of Sicily of the late period. And then if we jump way over to this side, I have 3 units of condottieri. Yeah, condottieri. Anyways, this is a very heavy shock cav. Again, going with the late period theme, Tier 3. I think it was a pretty high money battle. I think it was something like 18k or something like that. So you can see my condottieri. They actually have 3 bronze chevrons for each of them as well. So pretty formidable force for Sicily, so let's go ahead and take a look at my ally. The second force we're going to take a look at is the Kingdom of Saxony, or the Duchy of Saxony. This is commanded by Hamdog CDXX, and he's just moving his forces over into position, just on the left-hand side of myself. He's actually deploying farther down the slopes, and as you can see, a lot of his forces are actually hidden, so he's trying to, I guess, maybe either get a surprise attack or also try and get into range of the enemy handgunners long before they even see him. Maybe he could get a couple of early volleys off. But he's gone very heavily on the gunners, so I only brought 8. He's bringing 11 units of these Arquebusensützen, which is a mouthful to say, but they are also Tier 3, and then he's only got 5 units of his Lanchenet, so way less on the pikes, more on the handgunners. But then he's got 3 units of the Saxon Ritter of the late period, so they are Tier 3. And whereabouts is his general? Here he is. He's coming up over here. And I believe that this is the Duke's Hairchild. Yes, it is. And I believe that's him riding forwards with the mace in his hand. So yes, that's the Saxon forces. So as I said, they're kind of more under this slope here. So the enemies are actually up over top of that hill. So he's going to be able to crest the hill and then hopefully get some shots off quicker than the enemy can get on him. He definitely has the ranged advantage with how many guns he's bringing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the enemy armies, and then we'll get the battle started. The first enemy army we're going to take a look at today is the Duchy of Austria, and this is commanded by CJ Sniper. And he's bringing a pretty solid force, but he's actually deployed them more in a defensive fortification, or not fortification, but a defensive formation. And he's got a mix for his pikemen. I think he has 9 units altogether. 5 of these units are mercenary Swiss pikemen. And then in the center, he has 4 units of Landstedt. And like I said, kind of reinforcing his gunners that are in the center. Now, he does have a few of these. I think he has 5 units of them total. Let me just double check. 4, 5, 6. No, he has 7 units. So that's not too bad. But also bringing the Arquebusensützen. So he's got 7 of those. And then his general's bodyguard is way over in the trees over here. I guess doesn't want to be gunned down. Who would? But it's the Duke's Hairchild of the High Period. And then if we zoom up over here, and then back down through the trees, he's got 3 units of Austrian Ritter of the Late Period. And they've actually got silver chevron upgrades. So this is going to be some pretty formidable cav. I guess he's hoping to also get a surprise attack on the enemy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last enemy army, and then we'll get it started. The final army, who is allied to the Duchy of Austria, is the Republic of Venice. And you can see that his gunners are moving around a little bit on the battlefield. This is commanded by Blablo. And he's got pretty much the exact same army as I do. He's going with 8 units of his pikemen, the Peschieri of the Late Period, which is the same as mine. And then he's got 8 units of these Sciopetari. And I hope that sounded Italian enough for you guys. But tier 3 heavy gunners. So we're going to be pretty even, I think, myself and Blablo. We're actually facing each other, and then CJ Sniper is facing off against Hamdog. And then we have the Doge of Venice wearing this little funny hat here. But he's also tier 3. He's got a lot of chevrons, so hopefully he can last in prolonged melee. And then Blablo's bringing 3 units of Condottieri, just like myself. So that's pretty much it for the army comps. They're pretty generic, and a lot of it is the same, but I hope you guys appreciated me going over it anyways. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield here, and as you can see, I've got my pikemen and my gunners moving forwards across the field. The 2 defending armies have gotten a nice situation up on the top of this hill here. If I turn on the HUD, they've got most of their pikes in the front lines, and it's a pretty tight formation. And at least on Blablo's side, he's got his gunners right out in front of his pikes, so they're probably going to be able to get the first volley down on my men. The reason for that being is because I'm going to have to move my forces into range first. However, if we kind of zoom out to almost the maximum here so you can see how you're deploying, I've actually stretched my line to accommodate both enemy players' front lines here. And I've also got my cavalry way over here on the right flank. Now, way over here, as you can see, Hamdog CDXX, he's got his forces mostly right underneath this hill, and they are still all hiding. Now, I guess the plan was to get kind of a sneak attack on the flank. However, CJ Sniper, who's playing as Austria, he's pretty well defended with his pikemen. The only thing that I would say right off the bat that could be a problem is his gunners are not facing this direction, or not enough of them are. I'm going to put this in slow motion real quickly here. The thing I would say about this defensive formation is, unfortunately, they are outgunned. They've only got 7 units for the Austrians towards Hamdog's 11 gunners. So that could be an issue. Meanwhile, I've stopped my lines because I see that the Austrian Arkebusen Sützen, I have to slow down to get every syllable there. I see them moving forwards to the trees, so that's why I've completely stopped my line. But we can go ahead and hit play here. And it looks like all the gunners have come into view now. The cavalry was going for like a sneaky cav charge there, but I think all these pikemen were hidden before and are not now. So yeah, these pikemen are going to be in for a world of hurt, I think, as soon as these units come over the hill. Oh my goodness, if I saw all these gunners coming down, I would probably not be sitting here like this, but here we go. The mercenary Swiss pikemen. We'll see how they handle gunpowder. And, oh, yeah, there we go. Getting some volleys down there. Yeah, really starting to pick apart the lines of pikes here. And unfortunately, these handgunners, they're out of range. They need to move closer so that they can get some decent fire. However, it looks like the pikemen have been activated over here, but they're only moving forwards very slowly. This gives the... I can't remember what the Saxony guns are called. Oh, yes, Arkebusen Sützen. It gives them the perfect opportunity to get some volleys down. And I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to... Oh, they've broken.
The enemy have rallied their units.
So, yeah, this defense is really kind of broken apart. I think in the forest, too, my men are just starting to get into range, but not quite, but we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, so far so good. Looks like the general is actually getting hit by some of the handgunners as well. But yeah, these handgunners were firing like point-blank range into the pikemen. However, now they're having a pretty tough time against the pikes. They do have literally like no armor, so Hamdog should probably push his pikemen forwards to defend his gunners. But here we go. I think they're going to get ready for another shot. I'm not sure if they're going to fire in the backs of these pikes or not. Doesn't look like it at this point. And I think my gunners should be in range now. Let's take a look-see down here. Nope, still moving forwards. Nice and slowly. However, we've actually got some of the cav over here from the Republic of Venice, the condottieri, moving forwards against my cavalry, and they are triple silver chevrons, while mine are triple bronze, so I didn't think that was a cavalry advantage that I had, or a cavalry engagement that I could have won. So I pulled my men back in behind my main lines here. There we go, you just see the brave gunmen moving forwards. I believe that the Venetian gunmen should get the first volley off here very soon. We should almost be in range, actually. But yeah, Bloblo's got a pretty solid defense over here. The only problem is that Hamdog's really pushing hard on the flank of his ally. Oh, and there we go. Actually, I'm getting the first volley off, which is very interesting. I'm not sure if my gunners have better range or not. I guess I could check that, but where's the range? 90 for them. Nope, 90 for me as well. So maybe they were off fire at will or something. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, there we go. Looks like they're starting to load up now and fire down. But I'm not even waiting. I am pushing forwards my pikemen very rapidly to try to get engaged against the, what are these called? The Piscieri, yeah, of course, the same as mine. I always forget that Venice and Sicily are very similar. However, I'm not really paying attention, I don't think, or am I? Maybe I am. Yep, perfect. I thought I was going to charge my pikes straight onto their pikes without having my pikes down. But there we go, so we've decided to start the engagement. My pike line is pulled a little bit longer than Bloblo's line, though, so those pikes are going to hold a little bit better than mine. However, we are engaging on all fronts here, and as you can see, these mercenary Swiss pikemen are just getting destroyed by these handgunners here. Hamdog is really taking advantage of the fact that he has more ranged than the enemy defenders here. Oh, you can just see the volleys coming down as well. And it looks like we got some pikemen pushing forwards as well. So the mercenary Swiss pikemen are going to try and hold their ground here. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on all areas of the battle. Yes, we've got Hamdog CDXX's cav actually getting in right behind these pikemen, so he is doing very well there. However, we've engaged over here with my units of condottieri against the enemies. And it's pretty even, but I am losing. The only reason I am winning over here is because I actually got a nice rear charge with my general's bodyguard, actually pinning the Doge of Venice in along with one of his units. So being surrounded, I am getting the upper hand here, but very slowly. Just look at all this heavy cavalry fighting here. So far so good for my side. This is really the big worry, was if I was going to win over here. However, Bloblo, it looks like he was pulling forward some of his gunners to get some shots off of my cavalry. But I think with the pressure from my gunners, he's pulling them back. Again, Hamdog with his Saxon Ritter really doing a number over there on the enemy gunners that are kind of held in reserve. And I am charging my pikemen back in. I think they had broken. But yeah, see here, I'm not paying attention. I'm watching the cavalry engagement a little bit too much over there. But yeah, these pikes just walked right through my pikemen. That's pretty funny. How are we looking on other areas of the battle? A lot of my gunners, now that the pikes are engaged, the gunners are obstructed, so they will not fire because there is friendly men in front. But these pikemen are actually facing the wrong way. I don't know if that's a misclick or not, but my pikemen are mowing them down. And we see some scattered shots here and there from the gunners. There we go, spreading out our lines. Yeah, a lot of these pikemen are kind of facing sideways, which isn't good. And if we turn on the HUD, you can see that the balance of power is pretty heavily in our favor now. This Saxon Ritter is just going to town. Already 111 kills there, the general 129. And unfortunately, CJ Sniper's defense is pretty much cracked. We've actually got gunners outflanking the Piscieri over here. So my pikes are pushing in from the front, and then we've got the gunners in from behind. So, pretty quick battle. It wasn't too long, but I don't fault our two opponents because if you guys did watch my last siege battle, they are very new to Total War, and then we kind of threw a curveball at them with this pike and shot. Nobody really plays pike and shot, but it's kind of fun now and again to just do something a little bit different. So I really appreciate you guys for being good sports about that and playing with us. Because I don't think I've seen any Medieval Kingdoms 12-12 pike and shot, except on my channel, which is only one video, so. But, yeah, it looks like most of the cavalry has been slaughtered. One of my cavalry units has broken to the might of the Venetian cavalry, but the only reason I've won on the other two sides is just because my general was able to support in that flank. And unfortunately, Blablo's Venetian general was slain pretty early on in this cavalry engagement. And it looks like a lot of his handgunners are trying to run away to maybe form up a secondary defense here. Looks like, actually, I wonder if the Doge is still alive. I can't exactly remember. Oh, yes, he is! Here he is! Oh, he's riding away, but he is still alive. He's trying to protect his handgunners, so he must have been able to pull out of that engagement pretty successfully. He does have most of his unit left. But we're just pretty much running down the last of these gunners over here. But the carnage is pretty apparent if we kind of move back over towards the hill. You can see where a lot of my pikemen did take a decent amount of damage, but yeah, a ton of bodies over here. We've actually got this one unit of Piscieri, very, very brave, who's actually holding out on all sides here against the enemy pushing in from three sides. But there we go, and a last-ditch push from my Piscieri were able to break them. So I think that is the last of the Venetian pikemen. I've got a unit of gunners over here, but yeah, mostly we're just kind of chasing down the enemy. Let's go ahead and put this in slow motion. We've got the general breaking over here, but I kind of want to see if I can find the Doge real quick in this engagement. Just got to look for the funny hat. It's got to be here somewhere. I'm sure you guys actually probably already see it. Oh, there he is, there he is, there he is. He's riding away. He's escaping! Come back! Oh, you coward! And apparently it's super laggy for some reason when I zoom in just on that one unit. Don't know what that's all about. But there he is. Is he just gonna get away? I don't know. Like, his unit is routing, so let's put it on play and see if he escapes the battlefield. It looks like he is. At this rate, too, he's going to be the only one left alive. I've got my unit of horse... Or, who's this unit? Oh, this is Venetian cavalry as well. But yes, the Doge does escape. Wow. There we go. But yeah, Hamdog's just finishing off the last of the cavalry. And it is a pretty successful victory. Now, I forgot to show you guys the man count at first. We did have 100 less men than the opponents did, but we still have 2,000 men, which is pretty solid. In pike and shot battles, it just really doesn't work to take a defensive approach. You kind of have to be a little bit aggressive, especially if we did add in artillery, which I usually do add in a bombarder too. You have to push forward with your forces. Loose formation, just get them firing. And I think that we were just able to fire on them a little bit quicker than they were. And there we go. That's the end. So let's end the replay, take a look at the results here. So thanks very much to everyone who joined in this battle. I really appreciate it. My pikes, again, not getting too high of kills, but a couple of my gunners doing pretty well. And my cavalry held, which was important. And for my ally, the general, getting 156, which is pretty solid. Couple of high kills on these gunners as well. Actually, about half of them getting over 100 kills. And yeah, the cavalry doing really excellent there. CJ Sniper, a lot of his pikemen, pretty low kills. Some of his gunners, not too bad. And this unit of cav, 141, that's pretty solid. And for Bloblow's force, much higher kills with his pikemen than mine. But low on his gunners. And cavalry was okay, but I did manage to beat them, which was a little bit of a surprise. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If you want to be part of a pike and shot battle, just be sure to leave a comment on the video asking for my Discord link, because that's where I draw for all of my multiplayer battles. A lot of you guys like to play with me, and that's great, but I only draw from my Discord server. I post letting you know if I have a game open or if I'm have time to play. So it just kind of makes it a little bit easier for me so that I'm not always forgetting. I'll make a promise to someone on a comment that I am going to play with them, and then I completely forget. With Discord, it's just a little bit more organized. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one.